What is good, everybody? My name is Bryce, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Today, we are going to be reacting to a true Las Vegas horror story. It's a video by Mr. Nightmare that was submitted to him, and I've seen this video on YouTube a few times. Like, I've seen the title around, but I don't see a lot of other people reacting to it, so I figured I'd jump in and see what it's about and react to it. And Mr. Nightmare always has good videos, and so this is going to be exciting to see what he shares with us this time. I mean, it's somebody else's story, but we'll see what this story is like this time. And anyways, I'm interested to jump in, and so let's do it. Here we go.
I was 23 years old when this happened. I'm 27 now, and there hasn't been a week that has gone by that I haven't thought about this trip. To celebrate our friend Andrew's 21st birthday,
I've been to Vegas a
we
few
were taking
times.
him on a trip
It's all
to
right.
Vegas. He was always a laid-back and kind of shy dude, and we all knew that he hadn't yet done the deed, so we planned on getting him really drunk and to put it bluntly, get him laid.
Hey, for some people, it doesn't
We
happen until
checked
later
into
in
the
life.
Carriage House Hotel, which was one of the more affordable hotels that we could find. We had 2 separate rooms, as there were 7 of us in total.
No shame in that.
There were
It doesn't
4 of
happen
us in the
until
room
later
that I
in
was
life, you
in.
know?
Andrew was in the room with us. The first thing we did was eat, of course, as we were all starving. We then hit the casinos just to say that we did it. Out of the 7 of us, only 1 of us left with more money than entering. We checked out a bunch of different bars.
I'm never very good at
as the
casino
night went
games.
on,
Only
things got more
blackjack,
blurry
but I
and
know they're all
everything
like
got
luck.
funnier. We got into a nightclub.
It's
that
all
was
luck or
going wild.
chance games, of course,
caught 2
but
of
like
our friends,
I seem to
John
always
and Eddie,
do
walking out
like
with
the
girls.
best at
They
blackjack.
shot us the about to get lucky look.
Maybe it's because I understand the
We
rules the
understood.
best or something.
The rest of us were trying to pressure Andrew into
Obviously, it's just
approaching the
luck, though,
girl.
I know, because the
But
house
even in
normally
his
wins,
drunk
so...
and somewhat loosened up state, he was still too shy to approach anybody or even dance. It got to the point where we were desperate to find
Gotta get
somebody for Andrew.
extroverted. I
We could
mean,
already foresee that he wouldn't
I
meet
was in
any
his
girls
group
at
for a
this
while
rate
until
the
I
whole
went to
trip.
college or
We
university.
left the club in search for a working girl.
Then I became extrovert.
You may think our actions were weird.
Extrovert, yeah.
As most people were by that time, we were completely hammered. We approached a girl walking alone, acting like a couple of retards, asked the girl if she would be interested in hanging out with our
It's kind
friend
of creepy.
Andrew, who was very noticeably not quite as messed up as us, but still intoxicated nonetheless. The girl wasn't anything special. I could say that even in the state I was in, but we wanted Andrew to have a good time. I don't quite remember what she said in direct response to me, but I remember her voice being slightly deep to the point that I looked at my friend. I also have this slight memory of her analyzing Andrew from
What if
head
it's a
to toe.
man? She could be like a
Again,
like they
I
have
don't
that there. They
remember
have a
what
lot of
she
like
said,
drag queen
but
stuff
it
there,
led
so
to
it
her
could be a
grabbing
man.
Andrew's arm and the 2 of them walking off down the sidewalk. We laughed as we could see how awkward Andrew already felt. None of us thought it was weird what just happened, though. But just out of curiosity, to see what was going to go down, we decided to trail behind them. They didn't seem to exchange any words.
It's good you're following him
In
just to make
fact,
sure he's
It
safe.
appeared as if the girl was pulling him. We followed for about 15 minutes, I would guess. It could have been much longer, but I wouldn't really know. It was a darker and quieter street.
This is weird. This is
The 2 of them
strange.
stepped into what we assumed was an apartment building, and we all laughed. But we were so proud and happy for him,
It's a
too.
good thing they know where he's going, though, at
There was
least.
no point in us waiting there, so we went back to the club. At around 2 in the morning, we headed back to the hotel. Andrew wasn't in either of the rooms. I was starting to sober up a little, and a bit of concern began to arise in me. John and Eddie, who weren't with us earlier, were shocked to hear about
He
what
could be
happened.
spending the night.
We all kind of assumed Andrew was just spending the night with the girl. Still, it was out of character for Andrew doing anything like this, so it was just weird. I texted him and tried calling him. He never answered, but my friends told me to relax. I crashed minutes later. I woke to a ringing sound. At first, with my mind still in sleep mode, I assumed it to be an alarm clock and tried tapping at my phone to turn it off. As my head began to return to reality, I realized the phone was ringing. It was Andrew's number. I literally felt my heart drop for whatever reason. I told my friends who were already awake from the ringing.
Yo.
I answered, and was greeted to heavy breathing on the other end. It was Andrew. and he sounded as if he were having some kind of panic attack. I put him on speakerphone so everyone could hear.
I hope he's all right.
Andrew began whispering into the phone. Most of it was incomprehensible, but we made out some of what he said. We heard him whisper, "It was that woman. Guys, you gotta get over here right now." We tried to engage him, but he wasn't answering anything we were saying. The other end went silent. We were all basically screaming into the phone, asking if he was all right, where he was, what was going on. I was already shaking in my skin at that point, but what happened next only made it 10 times worse.
Yeah, I bet. This is really scary.
Broke the silence on the other end. The sound of a door being opened with force, followed by the shrill and horrific screaming of Andrew, before the sound of the call ending. We were all freaking the fuck out.
Yo.
I called the police and tried to remember the address, or at least the street. We were so messed up last night that I couldn't even remember the route that we took. One of my friends claimed he did, though. The police came over to the hotel, and they escorted us.
It's good to have that friend, yeah.
My friend seemed to remember exactly where the building was. He guided the police past the club, down the side roads, and eventually to the building. 2 officers from the front car went inside. We were to wait by the other car. A few minutes felt like hours, waiting in anticipation and in fear of the worst. One of the officers stepped out. She came over to us and asked us to come inside to confirm if the dead body belonged to Andrew. I felt like the entire world just collapsed on my head as John and Jerry both started crying. They didn't want to go in, so I followed the officer into the building, which turned out wasn't an apartment at all, rather some kind of dark, abandoned storage building. There was the dead body, leaning out from the open closet.
Ooh, is this Andrew?
Mouth lifelessly hung open, staring up at the ceiling. It was horrible, but it wasn't Andrew. I knew it right away. The most noticeable feature, this boy had blonde hair, while Andrew had black hair. The officers had already scoped the whole place out, so they didn't know what to do. I took a look in the closet that I had a feeling Andrew was hiding in. Nothing. Not even his cell phone. We all did our best to forget about it, but a little more than a month later, I got a phone call during the middle of the night once again. I picked up. There was a bad reception and nobody was saying anything.
Hiding in the closet?
I was about to hang up when a faint yet familiar voice said, "Jesse? Andrew?"
I didn't mean to laugh when I said he was hiding in the closet. I was just surprised that that was the thought that they came to, but I guess so, which makes sense.
He didn't pick up after the 5 times I tried ringing him. So what did I do? I called the police and had them trace the call. The call was not coming from Nevada at all. No, it was coming from New Jersey. In fact, our own town, in a house not too far away. They said they were sending somebody to the house, but that wasn't enough for me.
Yeah, good move. That's a good idea.
Myself. I GPSed that address, hopped in my car, and floored it the whole time.
How did it get all the way across the country?
To reach the address. It was a vacant house on a corner. I sneaked up to the front door and put my ear against it to listen for anything inside. Nothing.
Good, go there and check it out for yourself. Yeah, to make sure it's all good.
I listened.
It's dangerous, but do it.
There were the sounds of small snaps and cracks from upstairs. The kinds of sounds you hear from somebody standing or moving on wood. I was sure that he was in there. I hopped inside, but I didn't even get to begin my search before noticing something at the edge of the hallway. Somebody was standing there, facing me, but I couldn't see their face. All I could see were their pale, exposed legs and long black hair down past their shoulders. It was a woman. I was feeling sick to my stomach, anticipating her charging up to me like in some kind of horror movie, but instead, she turned and ran in the opposite direction. I heard the sound of a door slamming shut.
Is this like The Ring?
By footsteps stomping downstairs, and then yelling of a man and woman. There was an even heavier pair of footsteps now stomping up the stairs.
Yeah,
that was my cue.
That's what I'd be worried about too.
I was feeling sick to my stomach, anticipating her charging up to me like in some kind of horror movie, but instead, she turned and ran in the opposite direction. I heard the sound of a door slamming shut, followed by footsteps stomping downstairs, and then yelling of a man and woman.
Okay, hopefully it got out in
There was an
time.
even heavier pair of footsteps now stomping up the stairs. That was my cue to run. I left the house and dove into the bush. Not even 5 seconds later, someone stepped out onto the porch, and for the first time in months, it seemed as if luck was finally on my side as a police car pulled
Yeah,
up to
it's
the
true.
curb,
I'd say
flashing
running
its
out like
siren.
erratically, trying to
I
like
heard the guy
wave
on
down
the
the
stoop
cops, that
mutter,
could happen
"Shit,"
maybe.
before slamming the door behind himself. The police followed inside. Apparently, the idiot didn't even lock the door. I stayed hidden, as I didn't want to startle the cops and end up with a bullet in my skull.
I wonder if this
I
is the
waited by the
same woman
car out
that
front,
if
and
they
minutes
saw that
later,
night in
one
Vegas,
of the
or if it's a
officers
different
came outside
person.
with the guy in cuffs. I introduced myself and warned that there was also a woman in there, but they never found the woman. In fact, one of the bedroom windows were completely open, which implied that she escaped. Andrew was found
I
upstairs,
think he's
locked in a
lying.
closet.
I don't think he knew her for a
He was in
day. I think
horrible
it's
shape,
longer than that.
malnourished, hair long and dirty. You could smell him from a mile away. The police ran the records for the man. He was never married, so they really had no way of finding out who the woman was. He even claimed that he had only known her for a day. Nothing made sense, and it still doesn't. Andrew admitted that he was raped, beaten, and hardly fed.
Oh, I think they're
I
gonna try
can't
to
even
recruit
imagine
him
admitting
and his
something like
friends. Is
that
what
to
they're trying
someone.
to do. Yeah.
The girl that originally escorted him to that
Yeah.
building was only there to collect payment from what he described as the operators.
That's what I think it was. Yeah.
For some reason, they forced Andrew to give them his hometown
There's
and
such sick
addresses of
people in this
everyone that was
world
with
for
him that
doing
night,
that.
which
There's
explained
great
why
people,
they
but
were
there's
in our
also
town,
sick
but
that this is happening.
not actually why they were in our town. Like, what their intentions were. To kill us? To add us to whatever kind of sex slave operation they were running? I'm the only person he's told out of our group of friends, and whenever somebody asked about it, I just said I don't know what happened. Things were finally
Can you like
starting to look
screenshot
up.
the numbers though
When
in
a
the
few days
texting? Because
later,
then
I got a
when you
text message
screenshot the
from a
number in the
random
texting,
number
people
one
should be
late
able to look
night
it up,
saying,
and like
"Fuck
maybe they
you."
could call it the police station.
Whoever it was blocked me, as I
Because at
couldn't
the top it'll
respond,
say like the
so I
number if
just
you don't
blocked
have them
them
as like
back.
a contact.
It happened
I think
again
it'll
the
say the
next
number,
week,
so then
and then
like
the next
you could
month.
just screenshot that.
Sure, I had the idea that it had something to do with the incident, but I had no idea it would be taken as far as it was. I woke up one night with a hint of brightness in my room. There was light from outside, in the backyard, shining ever so slightly through the closed blinds. It wasn't sunlight. It was the backyard porch light. I could see a shadow moving in front of the blinds. Somebody was definitely out there. I couldn't really see out of the crack at the bottom of the blind, so I inched it up ever so slightly. There was somebody standing by the window, looking right at me, as if they were waiting for me. But they were gone before I could even think about grabbing my phone to get a picture of them. I strongly believe it was that woman I saw in the house. That was the last time I saw or heard from anyone involved in this shit. Nothing of this whole situation has made a single ounce of sense, even with the best explanation Andrew could give me. I don't see a point in getting into how Andrew and everyone else is doing, as it's nothing interesting. The only thing I can say is I'm waiting for the next time I see any of these animals, and I'll be ready to call the police or take them on myself.
Through this video with me, and this is a very interesting video. And again, I hope Jesse and Andrew and his friends and everybody's all safe. And I feel bad for them. And again, I think they supplied Mr. Nightmare had added the email in the video. So I guess if you have any questions for Jesse, to hit him up and ask about that. But anyways, yeah, it was a very interesting video, very sad, and very scary. But since I've been in Vegas, luckily I haven't had any horror stories happen to me. But I do feel bad for those people that have had that. But anyways, it was a good reaction overall, and Mr. Nightmare videos are always good. And thank you for joining me for this reaction, and I hope to see you next time. Subscribe, and thank you.